I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing non-stop. Group chat after group chat lit up. Can't wait for tonight's musical night. Liam's gonna kill it. Sophia's outfit is fire. I scrolled through the messages, waiting for my name to show up somewhere. It didn't. Wait, I whispered to myself, staring at the screen. Where's my invite? I checked again. The poster showed the Parker siblings live, under bright lights with Liam in the center, Sophia smiling beside him, and an empty space where I should have been. I texted Liam, "Hey bro, did you forget to send my invite?" Seconds passed, then minutes. The message showed seen. No reply. I tried Sophia next. "Soph, are you serious? Why am I not on the poster?" Her response came fast. "Ethan, don't make this weird. It's Liam's project." "Liam's project?" I typed back. "I helped write half those songs." The dots appeared for a second, then vanished. A moment later, I realized she had blocked me. I sat there in silence, my coffee going cold. My heart thudded like a slow drum. I whispered, "So that's it. I'm not even family tonight." Mom's voice broke through from the kitchen. "Ethan, you're not dressed?" "The guests will be here soon." I walked in holding up my phone. "Guests for what?" "I wasn't invited." She froze, then looked away, fiddling with a tray of snacks. "Sweetheart, you know how your brother gets. He just wants things. Simple." "Simple," I repeated, half laughing. "By pretending I don't exist?" Dad folded his newspaper, avoiding my eyes. "Don't make a scene, son. It's just a small event." "A small event?" I scoffed. "You're calling it small when it's on the town's billboard?" Dad sighed. "Ethan, sometimes it's better to let them have their moment." I stared at both of them. "Their moment? You mean my song, their faces, and me, sitting in the dark pretending I'm fine?" Mom whispered, "Please don't start this again." I clenched my fists. "Start what, Mom? Asking why my name keeps disappearing every time Liam takes credit for something I wrote?" Her eyes softened, almost pitying. "You're too sensitive. Music is meant to be shared." "Shared?" I said, voice cracking. "You mean stolen." The silence that followed was thicker than air. Even the clock seemed ashamed to tick. Dad finally muttered, "Ethan, this attitude is why people find it hard to work with you." My chest tightened. "People? You mean Liam and Sophia?" He didn't answer. He just went back to his paper as if I'd vanished. I walked toward the door, grabbing my jacket. "You know what's funny?" I said softly. "If I vanished, I doubt anyone would notice until the next chorus hit." Mom called out, "Where are you going?" "Out," I said. "Somewhere quiet." "Somewhere I'm not a mistake," she sighed. "We just want peace tonight." "Yeah," I said, opening the door. "Peace without me." Got it. Outside the air was cold. The wind carried the faint echo of Liam's rehearsals from the hall down the street. I could hear my own lyrics being sung by his voice, my heart's words wearing his smile. I sat on the porch steps, scrolling through my old notes. The original demo still sat there, titled Home, a song about unity, about family. I had written it for them. Now it belonged to everyone but me. My phone buzzed again. A message from Emma, my ex. "Heard about the show. Can't wait to perform Liam's song tonight." I stared at her text until the screen dimmed. "You mean my song?" I whispered. I didn't reply. I couldn't. The laughter from down the street grew louder as guests began arriving. Cars lined up outside the Parker residence. The same house I grew up in suddenly looked like someone else's dream. I stood, brushing dust off my jeans. Inside, my parents would be smiling, pretending everything was perfect. Liam would be clinking glasses, soaking in praise. Sophia would post photos captioned, "Your family goals." And me? I was the ghost they'd rather delete than face. I looked up at the cloudy sky and muttered, maybe I was never family. Maybe I was just the background music. The first drops of rain hit my face. I let them fall, each one colder than the last. I whispered to myself, I just wanted to be part of something we built together. But the only answer I got was thunder, and my own voice echoing back. I told myself I wouldn't look. But when the first notification popped up, Parker Siblings Musical Night, Live Now. My finger trembled and I tapped it anyway. The screen filled with golden lights, flashing cameras, and a crowd cheering like thunder. Liam stood center stage, guitar slung across his chest, grinning like a movie star. Sophia swayed beside him, soaking in the lights. Then I saw her, Emma, My throat closed. She walked out in a silver dress, the same one she wore the night she said, "You and I are a team, Ethan." "Not anymore," I muttered. Liam leaned into the mic. "This next song is special," he said. "It's about love, loss, and finding yourself again. I call it Home." My stomach dropped. Home. My song. The crowd erupted. Emma smiled up at him, hand brushing his arm like they'd written it together. I whispered to myself, "No." "No, no, no. You didn't." The music began. My chords, my melody, my words. I heard every note like a wound reopening. Emma's voice floated through the speakers. "You said you'd never walk away." Liam joined in, harmonizing. "But silence was louder than your stay." I squeezed my phone, whispering, "That's my line." The comments on the live chat flooded in. Liam's songwriting is unreal. "They're the perfect duo. Give that man a Grammy." I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, give him my heart while you're at it." A memory flashed. 2 weeks ago, Liam had stopped me in the studio. "Hey, can I borrow that demo? The one about home? I just want to practice the bridge." "Sure," I'd said, "but it's not ready yet." He smiled too easily. "Relax, little bro. I won't touch your stuff." I remember the way he said it. Smooth, casual, like betrayal was already planned. I hadn't seen the file again. On stage, Emma laughed into the mic. "We wrote this together, right, Liam?" My chest went cold. I could almost feel the words carving into me. "We wrote this together." Liam nodded. "Yeah, it just came naturally." My mind screamed. "Naturally? It took me 2 years to write that song while you were too busy stealing verses off my laptop." I turned off the stream, but the music still echoed in my head. I threw my phone on the couch and pressed my palms over my ears. "Stop," I whispered. Please stop, but it wouldn't. My song had escaped me. It belonged to them now, twisted, shiny, perfect for the stage. A knock on my door startled me. Mom peeked in. "You're not watching?" "I did," I said flatly. She smiled softly. "They sound amazing, don't they?" "Yeah," I muttered. "Amazing how talent grows when you water it with lies." Her expression faltered. "Ethan, don't," I snapped. "Don't defend them tonight," she hesitated. "You know Liam loves you." "Love?" I laughed. "He loves what I create." "That's not love, Mom, that's theft," she frowned. "You're being dramatic." "Then tell me," I said quietly. "When someone takes your words, your melody, your feelings, and sings them like they were his, what do you call it?" She didn't answer. She just looked away and whispered, "You should be proud. Your song touched hearts." "Except mine," I said, voice cracking. She left, closing the door softly behind her. I sat there in the half-dark, staring at the wall. My guitar leaned in the corner, silent, loyal, untouched. I whispered to it, "Guess we're not needed tonight." I picked it up anyway, fingers trembling. I played the opening chords of Home, slow and broken. The melody felt different now, heavier, lonelier. My voice cracked as I sang, "You said you'd never walk away," and stopped midline. "I can't do this," I whispered. I put the guitar down and stared at my reflection in the window. "That song was my heart," I said softly. "And he stole it." My phone buzzed again. Another notification. Liam Parker's new song, Home, hits 1 million views in an hour. I laughed once, sharp and empty. "Congratulations, big brother. You finally found your spotlight." The laugh died fast. I pressed my forehead against the window, feeling the cool glass against my skin. "But you lost me." I didn't cry. I just sat there, breathing in the silence, letting it speak louder than words ever could. Outside, fireworks exploded in the distance. The cheers from the party echoed faintly through the night. Inside, I whispered, "Enjoy it while it lasts." Because somewhere deep inside, I knew one truth. The night he replaced me was the night I started to change. I woke up to hundreds of notifications. My phone screen was a battlefield of flashing hearts and fire emojis. Every post, every comment screamed the same thing. "Liam's masterpiece!" I scrolled through picture after picture. Liam holding his award, Sophia posing with Emma, my song playing in the background like a taunt. "Unbelievable," I muttered. Another tag popped up. "The Parker family shining bright!" No mention of me. Not one. My inbox buzzed again. "You okay, man?" "Saw the show. That was your song, right?" "You should be proud, bro." I didn't reply to any of them. Pride wasn't the word. It was something darker, like I'd been erased from my own story. Mom knocked softly. "Ethan? You've been in there all morning." I forced a breath. "Yeah," she opened the door, smiling too gently. "Breakfast is ready." "I'm not hungry." She stepped in, holding her phone. "You saw the performance?" "Of course I did. They did well," she said. "You should be happy for them." "Happy?" I laughed. "For what? Watching my song turn into their ticket to fame?" She sighed. "Ethan, it's just music. Don't overreact. Just music?" My voice cracked. "Mom, that song was me," she frowned. "You're too emotional about these things." "Maybe because no one else ever was," I said quietly. She looked at me for a long second, then turned away. "Try to be more supportive next time." "Next time?" I said bitterly. "You think I'll still be here next time?" She didn't respond. She just left, closing the door behind her like she was shutting off a noise she didn't want to hear. The silence that followed was deafening. I threw my phone onto the bed and stared at the ceiling. My thoughts kept looping back. Liam's grin, Emma's voice, the audience's applause. Every memory scraped against my chest like glass. I hadn't slept all night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the stage lights burning me out of existence. By evening, I couldn't stay still. I grabbed my jacket and walked out into the street. The town was quiet now. Posters from the concert fluttered against walls, Liam's face smiling on every corner. My name wasn't on any of them. I kicked a stray can off the sidewalk. It clattered down the road, echoing louder than my thoughts. I whispered, "Maybe I was never family. Maybe I was just a shadow that used to look brighter." A car slowed beside me. It was Ryan, one of our old bandmates. He rolled down the window. "Ethan? Man, I didn't see you last night." "You okay?" "Fine," he frowned. "You sure? You kind of vanished." "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Guess that's what I'm good at, vanishing." He looked uneasy. "I know it sucks, but Liam's just... You know how he is?" "Yeah," I said softly. "I know exactly how he is." Ryan hesitated. "You deserved credit, bro. Everyone knows that. Do they?" I asked. "Then why does it feel like no one cares?" He didn't answer. He just nodded and drove off, leaving me alone under the flickering streetlight. The wind was cold, biting against my hands. I shoved them into my pockets, trying to feel something other than emptiness. When I finally got home, I didn't turn the lights on. I walked straight to my desk and opened my laptop. My music files blinked at me, unfinished songs, forgotten dreams. For a long time, I just stared at them. Then I started packing, my guitar, my laptop, a few clothes. That was all I needed. Mom's voice floated from the living room. "Ethan, are you going somewhere?" I zipped my bag. "Yeah, just out for a while. For how long?" I paused. "I don't know," she sighed. "Don't do anything stupid." "I'm not," I said quietly. "I'm finally doing something right." I slung the guitar over my shoulder and looked around my room one last time. The posters. The trophies, the memories that suddenly meant nothing. Then I whispered, "I'm done being invisible," and I walked out into the night, carrying the only things that had never betrayed me, my music and myself. When Olivia opened the door, I could barely look her in the eyes. "Wow," she said softly. "You look like you haven't slept in a week." "I haven't," I admitted. "Mind if I crash for a bit?" She stepped aside. "You don't even have to ask." Her apartment smelled like coffee and old books. The walls were covered in vinyl records, every one of them a memory of what I used to dream about. I dropped my bag near the couch. "I'll find a place soon. Just needed some air." "Ethan," she said gently. "You said that the last time too." "Yeah, but this time I mean it." She handed me a mug of coffee. "You always mean it," I sighed. "Guess that's the problem." We sat in silence for a moment. The coffee was bitter but real. Something about it grounded me. Olivia leaned back. "So what happened this time?" "They used my song," I said quietly. "Who?" "Liam and Emma," she winced. "Ouch. Yeah, ouch." I let out a weak laugh. "And my parents told me not to overreact." She shook her head. "You write the heartbeat, they take the credit. Same story, different day. Maybe that's all I'm good for, making others look better." "No," she said firmly. "You're the real musician. Always have been." The words hit harder than I expected. You still think that? I know that, she said. You just forgot it. That night, we talked until the lights outside dimmed. I told her about the sleepless nights, the applause that wasn't mine, the silence that followed. She listened, really listened. Not with pity, but with understanding. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft. You can start over, Ethan. How? Write again. Play again. For yourself this time, I smiled bitterly. And then what? Upload songs no one listens to? Maybe, she said. Or maybe someone will. Maybe someone who needs to hear them. Her faith felt heavier than my doubt. The next morning, I found her sitting by the window, humming to herself. You still have that old guitar? She asked. I nodded. Always. Then play something. I've missed your sound. I hesitated but picked it up. My fingers trembled over the strings. The melody was simple, raw, unfinished. But it was mine. She closed her eyes as I played. When I finished, she whispered, That's the sound of a soul healing. I didn't answer. I couldn't. A voice came from behind us. That was beautiful. I turned. A tall man stood near the door holding a coffee cup. Olivia grinned. Oh, right, Ethan, this is Marcus. He's a producer friend. Marcus, meet the ghost who writes better than half your clients. Marcus laughed. High praise. You wrote that song? Yeah, I said cautiously. You record it? Not yet, he nodded. You should. That sound, people need to hear it, I shrugged. Not sure anyone wants to. Marcus stepped closer. I do. Look, I'm not offering fame or a label deal, but I can help you put it out there, under your name. No one else's, I blinked. Why? He smiled. Because it's real, and the world's starving for real. Olivia looked at me, eyes shining. Told you? Someone would listen, I swallowed hard. I don't know if I'm ready, Marcus said. No one ever is. But if you wait for perfect, you'll stay silent forever. The room went quiet. Only the hum of the city outside filled the air. I looked at the guitar, then at them. So what's the catch? There isn't one, Marcus said. Just let the world hear your voice, not theirs. His words echoed in my chest like a heartbeat I'd forgotten. For the first time in months, I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not pain. Something lighter, I whispered. Maybe it's time I start again. Olivia smiled. Welcome back, Ethan. And for once I believed her. The months drifted by quietly, like pages I'd stopped counting. Most mornings began with the same ritual. Coffee, sunlight, and a few chords on my guitar. The ache that used to sit in my chest was still there, but softer now. Olivia would check in sometimes. You're trending again, she said one morning, sliding her phone toward me. I blinked. What? Look, your song, Glass Hearts, it's everywhere. People love it, I stared at the screen. My voice raw and trembling, echoing across strangers' playlists. I didn't even promote it, she smiled. You didn't have to. Honesty promotes itself. I let out a quiet laugh. Guess the world was listening after all. For the first time in years, the silence around me didn't hurt. It healed. Later that week, Marcus called. You might want to sit down, he said. Why? What happened? Liam's in trouble. Big one, I hesitated. What kind of trouble? His label dropped him. The song he released last month, it got flagged for plagiarism. Turns out the melody matched one of your old demos online. I froze. My demo? Yeah, the one you posted years ago. Remember Empty Street? It's all over the forums. People are tearing him apart. I didn't speak for a while. The irony felt heavy. Marcus asked softly, You okay? I don't know, I admitted. It feels strange. You could sue him, you know. I could, I said quietly. But I won't. Why not? Because I already won. There was silence on the line before Marcus said, That's rare, man. Most people would want blood. I don't need his blood, I murmured. Just my peace. After the call, I sat on the balcony, watching clouds roll across the sky. The air felt lighter, almost forgiving. That's when Grace texted me. Can we talk? I hadn't heard from her since the night everything fell apart. When she arrived, she looked uneasy, eyes darting to the floor. I wasn't sure you'd see me. I nodded toward the chair. Sit! You're here now! She sat, fingers twisting around a bracelet. I wanted to say, I'm sorry for staying quiet back then. You don't owe me that, I said. I do, she whispered. I saw what they did to you. I didn't stop them. I sipped my coffee. Silence hurts more than words sometimes. She nodded, tears gathering. I know. We sat quietly for a moment before she said, Emma left Liam. I looked up. When? 2 weeks ago. After the scandal. She said he used everyone. Her, the band, you. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. That sounds like him. Grace leaned forward. She told me something else. She still listens to your songs. She said they sound honest now, I shrugged. Maybe because they finally are. Doesn't it feel good? Seeing him fall? I thought about it. The old me would have celebrated. But now there was only quiet. No, I said softly. It doesn't. Grace tilted her head. Why not? Because I've already lived through that kind of emptiness. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, not even him, she exhaled. You've changed. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I just stopped fighting ghosts, she smiled faintly. You always had more heart than any of them. I shook my head. No, I just learned what peace costs. And what's that? Letting go of the noise. She looked out the window. So what now? I keep playing, I said simply. Keep writing. That's all I ever wanted. She reached for her bag. If you ever perform live again, let me know. I will. As she stood to leave, she turned back. Ethan? Yeah? You're doing better than any of them. When she left, the apartment felt warm. Not empty, just quiet. I picked up my guitar, the wood smooth under my fingers. The song that came out wasn't planned. It just flowed, honest and unpolished. The melody was soft, forgiving. Somewhere between pain and peace. When it ended, I whispered to the empty room, he can have my silence. That's heavier than revenge. The words lingered like an echo, wrapping around me like light. For the first time, I didn't feel forgotten. I felt free. It was past midnight when my phone lit up. The screen glowed with one name I hadn't seen in months, Liam. For a moment, I just stared at it. The sound of the ringtone felt unreal, like it was coming from someone else's life. The call kept ringing. My pulse quickened. What do you want, Liam? I muttered, though he couldn't hear me. Then it stopped. I exhaled, only for it to start again. Same number, same name, same ghost. I hesitated, thumb hovering over the screen. My chest felt tight. Against my better judgment, I swiped to answer. Ethan? His voice was slurred, heavy with alcohol. It's me. I know who it is. He hiccuped. I needed to say something. Please don't hang up. I didn't speak. I just listened. I messed everything up, he said, his words breaking apart. You were the one people loved. I just wanted to be like you. That's all I ever wanted. I felt something twist inside me. You wanted to be me? Yeah, he whispered. You had the music. The heart. I had nothing but the name. I was jealous, okay? I thought if I stole your song, your girl, maybe I'd finally matter. My hand trembled. You destroyed me, Liam. I know, he cried. I know I did. I thought success would make me happy, but it's so damn empty, Ethan. Everyone's gone. Emma's gone. The label's gone. And you, his voice cracked. You're the only one who still has something real. I swallowed hard. You think saying sorry fixes that? He sighed, a shaky sound full of regret. No, I don't know how to live with what I did. The silence stretched between us, sharp and suffocating. Do you hate me? He asked suddenly. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to throw every memory in his face, the nights I stayed up fixing his lyrics, the songs I gave him, the love I buried so he could shine. But the words wouldn't come. Instead, I said softly, I don't hate you, Liam. I just don't trust you anymore. He sobbed. I deserve that. The sound of him crying used to make me want to protect him. Now it only reminded me how far apart we'd grown. I just wanted to be your brother again, he whispered. Not the enemy. I looked out the window at the quiet street below. Then you should have treated me like one. Ethan, please. Just tell me what to do to make it right. I closed my eyes. The hurt still lived somewhere deep, but the anger didn't. Not anymore. Nothing, I said. There's nothing left to fix. He choked out a laugh, bitter and broken. So that's it? You're done with me. No, I murmured. I'm just done with the pain. He went quiet. For a few seconds, I heard only his uneven breathing. Then, barely audible, he whispered, I'm sorry. I didn't reply. I couldn't. The line went silent again. Ethan? He said, voice trembling. You still there? I watched the call timer ticking on the screen. Then I pressed end. The phone buzzed again seconds later. I didn't answer. It rang once, twice, then stopped. In the dark, I could hear my heartbeat echoing louder than the silence he left behind. I set the phone face down on the table. For a long time, I just sat there staring at nothing. My chest ached, but not from anger. From release. My voice came out as a whisper. Forgiveness isn't always a conversation. I leaned back, eyes closing as peace settled in like quiet rain. Sometimes it's choosing silence, and for the first time in years, I let the silence stay. When I uploaded the uninvited one, I didn't expect much. It was just me, my guitar, and the truth I'd been too afraid to say out loud. 2 days later, Olivia burst into the studio, waving her phone. Ethan, you're trending again. I looked up from my notebook. For what? For this. She shoved the screen in my face. The video already had millions of views. My heart skipped. No way, she laughed. People are losing their minds over your lyrics. They're saying it feels like you bled through the mic. I chuckled softly. Maybe I did. She leaned against the wall. Everyone's asking who the song's about. I smirked. It's about peace. She raised an eyebrow. That's not what they think. I don't care what they think, I said, tuning my guitar. For once, it's not their story. It's mine, Olivia smiled. You sound different now. I feel different. Later that week, Marcus called. Ethan, we need to talk. What's up?
You've been invited to perform at the open mic festival downtown.
It's small but packed with real artists, no labels, no pretense. I hesitated. Perform? As in, live? He laughed. Yeah, live. You ready to face an audience? I've faced worse, I said quietly. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed the old scenes, standing behind Liam on stage, holding his lyrics, smiling for the cameras that never looked at me, but this time, the spotlight wouldn't be borrowed. When the night came, the stage lights blinded me for a second. The crowd murmured, waiting. My palms were sweating. Olivia stood near the side, giving me a thumbs up. You've got this, she mouthed. Marcus whispered, whenever you're ready, man. I took a deep breath. The microphone felt heavier than I remembered. Hey, I said into it, my voice echoing softly. My name's Ethan. A few cheers rose from the crowd. This song's called The Uninvited One. It's not about anger. It's about acceptance. I strummed the first chord. The sound filled the air like confession. Every lyric carried a memory, unanswered texts, silent dinners, laughter that excluded me. But I didn't feel bitterness anymore. Just release. When I reached the chorus, people began to sway. Some held up their phones. One girl near the front wiped her eyes. By the time I finished, the room was quiet for a heartbeat. Then applause erupted like thunder. Someone shouted my name. Then another. Soon the whole crowd chanted, Ethan! Ethan! I laughed under my breath, gripping the mic. Olivia met my gaze from the side of the stage, her eyes glassy. She mouthed, You did it. After the show, she ran up and hugged me. You just owned that stage? I smiled against her shoulder. I didn't think I could. You didn't perform as someone's backup, she said. You performed as you. I pulled back slightly. That's all I ever wanted, to be seen for who I am. She grinned. Then stop hiding. The world's ready. I looked out at the still cheering crowd, faces glowing under the lights. For once I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt home. When the noise faded and the lights dimmed, I sat on the edge of the stage, breathing in the moment. For years, I'd chased their approval, the family, the love, the validation that never came. But as the echo of my own name filled the room, I realized I didn't need any of it. I whispered into the empty mic. For years, I chased their approval. Now I only chase peace, and with that, I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally let go. The sea always sounded different at night, like it was breathing with me. Olivia sat beside me on the sand. Her jacket pulled close against the wind. You've been quiet for a while, she said softly. I like the quiet, I replied, staring at the waves. It doesn't ask for anything, she smiled faintly. That's new. You used to hate silence. I used to hate being alone, I said. Now it feels like peace. We watched the sky burn orange and fade into deep blue. The last light touched the water like a promise. Olivia glanced at me. Have you heard from them? Liam and Sophia? I asked. She nodded. I shook my head. No, their band split. The label dropped them. The last I saw, they were doing solo gigs in small bars. She sighed. It's strange how fast fame disappears. It's not strange, I said. It's fair. You can't build forever on someone else's soul. She was quiet for a moment, then asked, Do you ever miss them? I thought about it. I miss the idea of family more than the people. The version I wanted us to be. Do you hate them? I let the question hang between us. No, I said finally. Hate would mean they still control me, she smiled. You really changed, Ethan? I had to, I said. For years I wanted revenge. I wanted them to feel the same pain I did. But now, I looked at the sea again. Now I just hope they find what I found. Peace. Olivia leaned back on her hands. That's a rare thing, you know, to forgive like that. I didn't forgive them for their sake, I said. I forgave them for mine. Anger was killing me slowly, she laughed lightly. You sound like someone who's finally free. Maybe I am. The breeze picked up, carrying salt and memory. I closed my eyes and listened to the rhythm of the waves. Olivia nudged my arm. So what's next for you? Another song? Maybe, I said. But this time I'll write for myself, not for the noise, no charts, no expectations. I'd listen to that, she said. I smiled. You always did, she chuckled. Someone had to believe in you. Yeah, I said softly, and I'm glad it was you. For a long time we just sat there, no words. Just the sea, the stars, and the sound of something inside me settling after years of chaos. Then I said quietly, You know what I realized? What? Walking away wasn't weakness. It was power. She looked at me, her eyes warm. It takes strength to leave what broke you. Exactly, I said. People think revenge means winning, but sometimes the real victory is not caring who lost. Olivia smiled. You should put that in a song. Maybe I already did, I said with a grin. We laughed softly, and the sound blended with the waves. As the night deepened, I leaned back, watching the stars spill across the dark sky. Everything felt slow, easy, like life had finally stopped fighting me. Olivia whispered, You look peaceful. I am, I said. For the first time, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. She tilted her head. Not even to yourself? I thought about that, then nodded. Not even to myself. The tide crept closer, brushing against my shoes. I didn't move. I just breathed. Olivia stood and stretched. You staying here all night? Maybe, I said. Feels like the right place to end one story and start another. She smiled and walked back toward the car. Don't disappear completely, all right? I won't, I said, just resting. When she was gone, I lay back on the cool sand. The sea whispered, the stars flickered, and my mind finally stopped replaying old wounds. I exhaled slowly. This is it, I murmured to the night. The peace I was chasing, and for the first time in years, I finally slept.